Conservative plans to fast-track fracking are facing a revolt from the party's own councillors. Ministers are currently considering treating the gas exploration method as permitted development, meaning energy firms won't need planning permission. But a survey of over 500 Tory councillors in key fracking areas found that 80% believe planning applications are a must before any activity can begin. And almost two-thirds say town halls should have the final say on whether fracking can take place. Meanwhile, it's been revealed that a government report concluding that fracking increases air pollution was kept from the public for 3 years. The report by Air Quality Expert Group, which estimates that 400 wells would increase pollution, was published quietly last week. And it was only released 4 days after ministers approved fracking in Lancashire. Fracking company Quadrilla was given the green light as MPs broke up for summer recess. Hydraulic fracturing is a technique designed to recover gas and oil from shale rock by injecting a highly pressurized liquid. The industry says it will secure the UK's future energy needs, but activists claim it pollutes groundwater and causes earthquakes. The government insists the timing was a coincidence.
The government places scientific data and research at the heart of its decision-making to inform and shape the most robust policy possible. The AQEG report reviewed data obtained from the US, which might not be applicable to UK circumstances and needed thorough consideration. The report was published as soon as our full sign-off procedures have been completed.
Well, for more on all this, I'm now joined by campaigner Tina Louise Rothery from Frack Free Lancashire. Tina, thank you very much for joining us. Tory councillors say town halls should control fracking, but that's just a bunch of NIMBYs trying to stop it, surely. We need fracking.
I think that, local democracy is becoming ever more a fairy tale now, when the government can take a decision out of the hands of local councils. Our council said no after 18 months of seriously considering, what the impact of shale gas would be on our community. They put a lot of work in and a lot of effort only to have that overturned by government. And that's set a precedent then for all other councils that even if you do put the work in and even if you do make the effort, it can easily be overturned. And so, no, it's not NIMBYism. We're the ones who are going to live with the effect. I mean, it's our children who will be breathing those additional fumes.
But it's got to take place somewhere, and fracking will secure our energy needs for the future, will it not?
Is that so that we don't get all our energy from Russia? I think we get less than 1% from you. No, our secure energy needs would be better served by resources that don't eventually run out. This is a short-term exercise done primarily, I would say, for the profit of certain, shareholders and industry. It's certainly not being done for our greater needs and certainly not for the future. And this is not British gas for British use. The companies here are not all British, so therefore the markets will just take the gas. We can't earmark it and say it must only be used locally. So it'll just go onto the open market like all of our energy does.
The government's determined to press ahead, though. Is this all a bit futile, the battle that you're waging?
We've fought this battle for over 7 years now, and no, it's not futile because in 7 years they've not got a drop of gas out since the first frack. Here in Lancashire, they've got a site on Preston New Road, the A583, and Quadrilla said they'd like to make that the largest gas field in Europe. So rather than 6 to 10 wells on that pad, they'd like 42. We're going to be used as guinea pigs. The report we're referring to today that was kept under wraps, hidden from us for 3 years, is talking only about 400 wells. They're going to be looking at thousands of wells in this country. And certainly where we are in Lancashire, we're looking at hundreds and hundreds of wells in an area like where this site is for the Preston New Road site with Quadrilla. There are 165,000 people who live within 5 miles of that. And what the energy report stated was that that figure they quoted, the 1 to 4% increase in pollutants, was a national figure. Locally, we're going to get a far more intensified effect. There are 500 additional vehicle movements per frack. And on any of these sites, any one of those 42 wells will be fracked multiple times. The intensity of this industry and the industrialization of our countryside as a result of it really cannot be underestimated. And the government has form in this. Back in 2015, when it was the planning application was being heard, there was a report that was so seriously redacted from what was then the Department of Energy and Climate Change that we couldn't even understand a word of it. And when it was finally released long after the planning, we found in there that the impacts on our local community were all identified, yet hidden from the planners, much like how this has just got the go-ahead for the fracking to proceed, and this comes out just a few days later. It's a dirty business, and it shows our government to be a dirty government.
The residents say that they're concerned about earthquakes and things like water pollution, but there's no concrete evidence that either will happen.
In 2011, when they did the very first fracking in the UK and the last that they've done, they caused not just two light earthquakes here. They also caused over 50 small seismic events that impact the underground infrastructure, sewage alignment, and things like that. You cannot mess with what's underground that we rely on infrastructure-wise and expect it to go untouched by these earthquakes. When they did the study, they said, oh, well, a fracking-induced earthquake will just be very light on the human body, but it's not how it feels on the human body that we're worried about. And earthquakes is just one of countless concerns in the life cycle of a shale gas well. From the moment they put that drill in the ground, start increasing by over 500 vehicle movements per frac. I believe that it was Schlumberger, one of the largest drilling companies in the world, that came up with the statistic that 1 in 6 wellheads will fail on installation, and that all wellheads will obviously fail over time. And we're relying on this stuff as they drill down nearly 2 miles to a layer of the strata where there is naturally occurring radioactive material and other noxious substances that are going to come up.